speech to text speech to text gone crazy video number probably 7 or 8. The ultimate of costumes by the lightsaber wielded in World War III. Okay, and that now that we go and read the Five Nations, considering the boards I have seen great these roots read from the three great these great when groups and nature of pieces ranging from top city long of reason ago, was able to see from a flaw in the season that it is that any evil approaching you want American won the people of the Confederacy approaching the major third increase in speed of the way he moves in Cincinnati, and all will pitch over at major are being sharp O marks around becomes more money and some sense there is a massive generator, and that's the most glaring serendipitous 8 shots last B flat wrong all said and because it is named after the flocking Ball Betty White rat sweet tarts that are rate of the automatic mother to recent array of pop charts in Cuba you to meet two straight up to the top already holds the sock hop tunes Betty White. All will pitch over, major are being sharpo marks around becomes more money in some sense there is a massive generator and that's the most glaring serendipitous 8 shots left the flat wrong also and became because it is named after the fucking involving white rat sweethearts than our rate of the automatic MotherTeresa parade of pop charts in Cuba. You took me two straight up to the top already holds the Savatunes Betty White row after we talked parade of the automatic MotherTeresa parade of Pop Tarts in Cuba. Won't have enough of a family that knows self-created all in that event of an element won't have enough of a family that knows self-created all in that event held that one room last year to have the edge of town and I'm not be known by all expansive condom of cognitively impaired up to not to mention existential and the TV on the Edmonds welcomes comments below my folks' home school. For the mystery scale, then the experience or system of ineffable and non-verbally sell, and as the ultimate outcome of the mobile home, and sit on women who are now one result of you start a whole system in earnest, Smith's Simpson quell them by all we ask him by a man and not a domain name, and the focus now spellbound all last cell OOSL to Junga and gaze down the Manhattan Bridge, Jarvis Falk, although Susanna Mountains that Jarvis, all of this as an amount that job of all of this is a myopic job of all is an amount of the job of the all rights of the rights of the division over and over the thing is a viable for all the money is NA. The focus now spellbound. Now that is the text that was translated from speech that I read about an hour and a half ago. Here's how the speech to text interpreted me reading that. Imagine if you're feel in that you're sending a mile mark C in the holiday year 2017. In the week preceding the first total solar eclipse visible, well, the mainland continental markets and sense injured human and a longtime friend system, and that's how you met, for you tighten its control and loan from a wee herman's old home, and want to be confused with a crucified. It's things that you internally currents, well, it's all there to the mall ball tell you where 10 digs in and he's an athlete means, and in small cheered by 27 things they can move Simmons around when the filling period. And while it's in Volume 3, an overnight in school and the highest order of Mark Twain's arm and sometimes hang, in an still live signal that the system calls he's meeting a friend who goes by the given name Schools Try School, who made them away links environment thinking matter and consciousness impact human nature of the needs alone. Sparkle a stone wall Graham will and will add to this means for June own home from the ball just in time to mature love story of mayors from 2011 to 1218. Now, where I saw the image that the field and that is sending a mile mark C in the holiday 2017 In the week preceding the first home for clothes as the ball from Wyoming and Continental Market and Science Injures Human and a longtime friend system and its home that form control and loan from Herman's Hermit's old home and wants to use the mystified it's things that you family rooms won't solve. They're too small ball homework and the scene and he's an athlete means speech to text of a speech to text on crazy video number are probably send a the ultimate of costumes by way by the way Cybele movement and World War III, okay? And that now that we can all the five nations considering the boards I have seen rain these who read from the rain erased rate loan from nature of pieces ranging off city mall reasonable was able to see from a flaw in the season that you use N.E. Paul Robeson, you wants American 1, that People Confederacy approaching the major third increase in speed of Kuwait Hall moves few moves in Cincinnati and all will pitch over at Major Ben Sharpo marks around becomes more money and some sense there is a massive generator and that's the most glaring serendipitous 8 shots last a firewall Malf second because it's named after the fucking ball Betty White rat sweet tarts error rate of mom a mother to use an array of pop charts and shinbone you tune to straight up to the top glory hold the stock options and warrants all will pitch over major are being sharp o marks around the columns more money in some sense there's a massive generator and that's the most glaring send his HR lot of flack from OSL and became because it is named after the fucking involving white rats we part down rate of the automatic mother to recent rate of pop charts and she moved to two straight off the top already holds the so and white row after the talk radio man march and is rated R feeble won't have enough of family and also reviewed all that in event of an element won't have enough of a family and also created all the events held that one room last year to have the edge of town and I'm not be known by all expenses Malf of making the pair of two, not to mention existential and the TV on the Edmonds welcomes comments below my faults as homeschool for the mystery scale and the experience or system of an affable and non-verbally cell as the ultimate outcome of the mobile home and sit on women and were now involved all used our whole system in earnestness Simpson quo and by all we ask him by a man and not as a main and the focus now spellbound all mass cell all OSL to jungle and gaze Manhattan Ridge Jarvis all calls Susanna Mountains that's Java all of this as an amount was trans that job all home this is a myopic job of qualities and in Malf of the job of the all rights of the rights of vision over and over the thing is viable for all the money is an add the focus enough of a now that is the text that was translated from speech and drama about an hour at all years hall D speech to text interpreted me you reading that if imagine if your feeling that was sending a mile mark C in the holiday year 20/7 and in the week preceding the first hole for a quote in the ball while the mainland continental market sends injured human and a long-time foreign system and that's how you met from form tighten its control and loan from wee Herman's Hermit's old home in want to be confused with a crucified its things and overnight in school and the highest form of Mark Twain's arm and sometimes hang you can still live signal that the system calls and Malf finds goes by that given name schools try school mage M only makes environment thinking man and consciousness impacts human nature in the zone sparkles Stonewall Karam won't move into this means from Shimon home from all just in time to mature love story of mayors from 2011 to 1218 now where I saw movements that the field and that is sending and loan from Herman's Hermit's old home and wants to use the mystified its things that you family homes will fall victim small ball homer in the scene and he's an athlete and speech to text of the speech to text on review video number of problems send EV of menopause and bond with a by the wayside bowl movement and well worth 30 a.m. that now that we can haul the five nations, considering the board 5C rain, these who read from the rain increase wind speed of Kuwait homes, few moves in Cincinnati, and all will pitch over at Major Ben Sharp Falls, marks around, becomes more money. In some sense, there is a massive generator, and that's the most glaring serendipitous 8 shots. Last the firewall, Malf second becomes an index of the fucking ball by the white rat sweet tart's error rate of mom on whether to use an array of pop charts and shinbone tune to string up to the top glory hole stock options, and wants all will pitch over major being sharp fall marks around the columns, more money. In some senses, a massive generator, and that's the most glaring send is the charm of the flack from OSL. The talk radio man march and is rated R feeble won't have an awful family, and also reviewed all that nonsense of an element won't have enough of a family, and also create all the events of that one woman sued have the edge of town on now be known by all expenses mulf of making repairs, to not to mention existential in the TV. On the Edmonds welcomes comments below my fault. His home school for them is to stay on the experiences system of an affable and non-verbally some malf as the ultimate outcome of the mobile home, and sit on women, and we're now involved. All use our whole system in earnestness, Simpson Wall, and by all we ask him, by a man and of an affable and non-verbally malf, not as the main men in the focus, now spellbound, all mass cell, OSL, to jumble is Manhattan Ridge Jarvis, all calls is an amount, since Java, all of this is an amount of strands that job all homes, and myopic Java qualities, about an hour at all views, Hall D speech to text, interviewed me, you that if an edge, and if you're feeling that was sending a mile mark C and the holiday year 257, in the week preceding the first hole for a quote in the home of the mainland continental market, something that human and long-time foreign system in that home, that final form tighten its control and loan from the Hermits old home, in want to be confused with a crucified its things in overnight in school in the highest form of Mark Twain's arms, and sometimes hang, you can still live signal that the system calls, and Malf finds goes by that even named schools try to Mage M only makes environment, thinking man and consciousness impact, and nature in the zones our whole Stonewall Koran won't move into this means from Shimon home from all just in time to mature love story of mayors from 2011 to 12 weeks and now, where I saw movements that the field and that is sending it, and lone humble Herman's old home, and wants to use the mystify its things that you family homes will fall victim small bottle hammered and CME, then half the ends of each to text of the speech to text Homer video number of problems in the oven of homes in Bonn, without by the wayside old movement, and well worth of 30 a.m. that now that we can all five nations visitor and abort 5C rain season meet from the rain priest, and speed of courtly homes view moves in Cincinnati, Ohio, over major venture called marks around, become more money, and from some charts in shinbone tuned to string up to the top glory hole stock options, and wants all will pitch over major ben sharp fall marks around the town, or money in some senses, a massive generator, and as the ball lands, end of the charm of the flack from OSL, that talk radio man march and is R-rated feeble won't have an awful thing. We can also reviewed all that nonsense of an element will have another family, and also create all the events of that one woman sued have the edge of town on now be known by all expenses malf of making repairs, and not to mention existential and TV on the Edmonds welcomes comments below my fault is homeschool for the then stayed on the expenses system of an affable and non-verbally some malf as the ultimate outcome of the mobile home, and sit on women now involve all our whole system in earnest last Simpson Wall, and by all we ask him, by a man and a passable that night as the main man in the focus, now spellbound all mass salvo assaulted jumble of his Manhattan Ridge Jarvis, all calls is an amount since Jamal, this is an amount of preceding the first hole for quo in the home of the main man continental market, something that human and long time foreign system, and that is home that final form tighten its control on loan from The Herman's own home, in want to be confused with a crucified, it stings an overnight in school, and the highest form of Mark Twain's arms, and sometimes hang use can still lives in all that system calls in Mulf 5 goals by that name schools fight to major M home makes environments taking many consciousness impact and nature in the zones our whole Stonewall women will move into. This means from Shimon home, from home just in time to mature, love story of mayors from 2011 to 12 weeks and now, where I saw movements